We are in Jeju!
That's right.
So we flew from the very busy, hustle bustle, fast-paced Seoul to now very chill, all surrounded by nature, Jeju, and we love it here. The weather is not so hot. It's around 20 degrees, but the sun is shining in our eyes, which is why we're wearing shades. Otherwise, we can't see the camera. Yeah, and how are you guys? We know it's really early in the morning, so thank you so much for coming on.
That's right.
And we just wanted to give you some updates after being, 2 weeks almost 2 weeks in Seoul, right? And then now we are in Jeju. So, John, what would you like to tell them?
So Jeju is Jeju Island, very different from Seoul City. It's a UNESCO listed
Yep.
heritage site, and we're surrounded by beaches. You can see behind us is the sea. There's some windmills over there
Yep.
as well, and there's a little island.
Yep.
And behind us, actually behind you, are mountains.
Yep, the Halasan Mountains are actually, we are looking at them,
Yep.
right? Yeah. So it's pretty cool. What we must say, the people in Jeju, because Jeju's public transportation is either buses or you own your own car. So they drive quite fast, I must say. A bit scary. We took the taxi from airport all the way to our hotel, and wow, they drove really, really
Yeah,
fast.
and Jeju is huge. It's a very
Yeah.
big island. So to get, say, from one destination to another destination, it's like easily 20 to 30 kilometers. That's a very long
Yep.
distance just to get from point A to point B.
Yeah. So normally what people do is when they take tours, they either choose the west tour where you explore only the west for the day, or you choose the east side tour, right? So you don't do both. It's not possible for you to do both, because even you do one side alone, it really takes you like 8-10 hours.
Yeah. So we want to share a little about what we noticed about the Korean culture, especially spending some time in Seoul before we came over here to Jeju, is that in our last YouTube live video 1 week ago, we talked about the younger Koreans who are very into beauty and
Skincare,
wellness,
yep.
skincare, and I think understandably, if you understand a bit more about Korean culture, that's how they are. But the difference is the older guys, the parents and the grandparents, their behavior seem to be very different. And then one thing that we notice is the younger Koreans, they seem to be very tall,
You're taller and broader. Yep.
yeah, than us Southeast Asians. And I'm talking about maybe 1.75, 1.8 meters. That's like the norm for the guys.
Yep. So we were walking around the subway, right, or in the malls. We're like, wow, this guy is so tall. Plus, very handsome, right? But wow, so tall. And the girls are a lot taller than I
Yes.
am. The guys are taller than John, and of course the complexion, no need to say lah. They are very fair, right? But in terms of their build and their height, right? Wow. And
I think it's the diet.
yeah,
I think
and
it's
so
really
we
got to do with
noticed
the
is
diet
because
changes.
right now in this new generation, they eat a lot more meat, more protein, right?
That's right.
Pork, beef, chicken, whereas their parents and grandparents' time, due to war, due to poverty, they eat simpler, right? A lot more vegetarians, like your bibimbaps and whatnot.
Yep.
So they, in terms of that, it does contribute, the protein does contribute to the growth.
And yeah, there's a very, like shorter, older people, and then suddenly the young guys are so tall, and then we
Yeah.
are kind of in between. So we notice the
Yeah.
differences when we are walking in the subways, and just generally walking around.
Yep, that's right.
And
No,
yeah,
and then so if you all have followed our first live, which was in Seoul last week, we shared that we stayed in an Airbnb, right? And the Airbnb is a mixed development. So downstairs you've got your convenience store. Level 2 was a Korean dessert shop. There was a singing room, and then on the other levels were the housing units.
It's called an officetel. Officetel is like service apartments in Singapore and Malaysia
Yep.
terms, and it's very popular, especially in the heart of town where land is more scarce. So the buildings, they have to make sure they optimize it for commercial developments as well.
So the thing that we want to share is really very interesting. So our floor, there may be about 6 other units as well. And on the weekdays, Mondays to Fridays, we notice there's lots and lots of packages being delivered to their doorstep. It could be frozen products, can be shopping, can be whatever, right? And that's what the Koreans do. They go to work, and while they're at work, they actually order all their packages, whatever they need, and it gets delivered to their doorstep, and then they'll collect that when they're home. And there's no worry about porch pirates. I know it's a very rampant thing in the US. There's no worries there because there's a lot of CCTVs, cameras all over. So if you steal, you're gonna get caught. So the packages are really nicely right at the doorstep and they collect it. And they do work very long hours because, sometimes we are home already by like 8, 9 o'clock and our neighbors aren't home yet, right? And what they do also, they're quite smart. If they are going to eat dinner at home, they actually order the food and it's already waiting for them at the doorstep. Pretty ingenious, isn't it?
Yeah, the hustle culture is actually very strong in Korea.
Yep.
Very similar to Japan actually, where
Yep.
you see the working population, they leave very early in the day and the subways are always packed
Super
during peak
packed.
hours, and we got caught in a few of them.
Yep.
And they don't come back to the house until much later.
That's right. So it's, I guess everywhere you go, the rat race is kind of the same, isn't it? 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock is peak period. Either you're stuck in a car traffic jam or you're stuck in a human traffic jam in the subway. And hi,
Hi,
CK.
CK.
Hi, CK. Yup, it's amazing weather. We're not wearing jackets because it's not that cold. And anyway, continue that. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, yes. And during the weekends, right? And sometimes we are home during weekends, we haven't left for the day yet. You can actually hear there's a lot of activity already. They're going out, getting ready for the day. The doors are slamming, ding dong, right? And they are going out, and then you see them, they come back with lots of shopping. They are in the Seoul forest having picnics. They're going to the Han River to enjoy concerts. So it's a very interesting culture where they work super hard on during the week. They don't really have time to rest and relax, and then they really go all out on the weekends.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. They work hard and they play really hard, and there's plenty of places for the Koreans or the South Koreans to enjoy within Seoul. But now back to Jeju, where we are now. Jeju, the island vibes, well, is totally different. For one, you have plenty of space, plenty of land. So you are not looking at crowded subways, crowded city centers,
Yep.
and
It's
the
very
vibe.
peaceful. You can hear the birds chirping. CK says he's in the Singapore MRT. Is it very packed in MRT, CK? Yeah, and CK says it looks like Phuket, not Jeju. Kind of.
Yeah, maybe let me show you a little.
The waves are definitely a lot stronger in Phuket, though.
Yeah, so you can see I'm not sure whether you can see there's some windmills in the background, and then there's like a little island. We're actually on top of our hotel rooftop.
Yep. Our hotel is in the west side.
We are towards the west, the northwestern side of Jeju, and it's very difficult for us to go from the west to the east because I think the actual distance is probably about 50, 60, 70
Yep.
kilometers, and it doesn't make sense unless you're spending the whole day in one side of the island.
That's right.
So Jeju is huge. You actually need a lot of time to explore it.
Yep, and we didn't bring our driving licenses, so we can't rent a car because you need an international driving license, and we didn't do that back in Singapore, so we didn't bother. So we can't rent a car and drive. So we'll probably hire a driver if we want to go to like all the
Point A
further
to
parts.
point B,
Yep,
yeah,
that's right.
that-
Yep, and what else did we wanted to
So
say?
of course we are here in Jeju Island. To go and find out what the cost on the ground, how's the food.
And whether it is possible to retire in Jeju. You'll be
Exactly.
surprised. There are people who are
Yes.
retired here which are not Koreans.
Exactly, and there are a lot of foreigners. Of course, in terms of visa requirements and all that, we'll cover that in our later videos. Do stay tuned for both our Seoul and Jeju videos that will talk more about cost of living and retirement.
Yep. And the reason why we are in Jeju as well is because like the one in Thailand, right? We were in Bangkok and then for 2 weeks, and then we spent a week in Hua Hin. And I think this is kind of like our style, right? We like to go to the city life, go and see everything, immerse ourselves in the culture, and then we kind of want to take a break, right? We want to kind of relax. Oh, and the funny thing is because the weather is not very hot, but it's still pretty chilly. Our hotel actually has a swimming pool, but they actually dried it out, right? They drain the water from the pool, so we've got 2 huge empty pools, but we can't swim, right? Because there's no water, and they only fill up with water in July and August. So that's pretty much the update. If you want us to go to Jeju and swim, you can only do so actually in July, August. And I asked the lady, right? She says all hotels do that, right? It's a thing because it's too cold. The other months is too cold.
Hi Ben, thanks for tuning in. I see that you're asking a question about heading to Seoul and Jeju, right? Just like us. Well, actually, it's autumn. What I understand, autumn only has a few weeks for you to see the leaves,
Yeah.
know.
So
And
okay, this is a very funny thing. I actually follow this girl called Jojo something on TikTok, and she's like, we call her our weather girl, right?
Yeah.
She updates on the weather all the time, and she last week she was telling us about the foliage. So she's Korean. And she was telling us about the foliage in Seoul, because she's based in Seoul. And she says the full autumn colors will be this week and next week. And then after that, they'll start to drop, which kind of makes sense, right? Because in winter, you know, the trees are all bare. So the full colors are actually this week and next week. If you are, so you're
They're coming
just in
next week.
time, right, Ben?
You are just in time, Ben, to
Yeah,
actually
to catch.
the full colors. For us, we caught some of the early colors and the turning colors,
Yep.
and I think we should be able to catch the full colors here
Yep,
in Jeju.
that's right.
And then you have probably one more week, and that's it.
Yep, that's right. So we were in Nami Island a few days ago, and it was beautiful. Everything was mostly yellow and reds.
That's right.
So yeah, and great, Ben. Yeah, and let us know if you have any questions. For Seoul, remember to get your T card. Yeah.
Yeah, your T card is for your subway and your buses, your public subways and buses for you to get around, where you can top it up
Yep.
to get around. Okay, so thank you so much for allowing us to connect with you, and thank you for taking time to watch our YouTube live as well, whether it's now or later. We are so excited to share with you what we learned about Korea, especially about all the different
And we will
course,
definitely be
retirement.
back.
Exactly.
We love it. We love South Korea. So we'll definitely be back to probably experience winter. Probably not the summer though, because you know it's very hot, and we come from Malaysia and Singapore.
Yeah,
so
and spring, right?
Yep. So spring and winter will definitely come back in the future.
Right.
We love it. We love it. We love the food. We love the culture. We love everything about it.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon.
Yep. And we have some exciting updates. So stay tuned. Subscribe to our channel. Give this video a like, and we'll catch you guys real soon. Love you.
Bye.
See you. Bye.